on the protest as a sign of possible revolution in Iran. The one thing that they're missing, I think, is that if Iran is truly looking for revolutionary change, then maybe we should give them some support. I'll explain what I mean in just a minute, but first, to understand what's really going on in Iran, you need to understand their power structure, and I want to show this to you. I spent a couple of minutes. Oh, yes, I fancy myself an artist. I spent a few minutes before the show went on, and this is the way Iran works. It's beautiful, isn't it? First, you have Allah up here. Spent a lot of time figuring out how to depict that, and I hope nobody's going to kill me for that. Here is the Ayatollah. This is the guy. Allah speaks directly to him. This is what he believes. Speaks directly to him, and he's got control of the nukes. This is the guy that really controls everything, and it's not the guy we're usually talking about. Then underneath that, he picks a guardian council. These are 12 people that report right directly to him, and he picks them, and they're all, you know, those super fabulous, uncorrupt officials there. Then, these guys pick 88 assemblymen. This is the assembly of experts. I like to call them here in the United States, czars. Except the people, unlike here in America, the people actually get to vote for these people, but they're all pre-selected by these 13. So they get a vote for the people, let's say, I don't know, a couple hundred people. They narrow them down to 88. Then you have, in this last election, you have the president that everybody's voting for. There were 475 people that wanted to run, but they have to petition these guys. These guys said, well, 475, that's an awful lot. There were even, I believe, 42 women involved. Here's some of the women. And what they did is said, no, those aren't really good choices. Oops. I didn't let a woman run. Those aren't really good choices. We're going to let you have 4. So the people voted for these 4. It got down to 2, and that's where the trouble started. This is what the people are arguing about. This choice between this guy and this guy, that this guy has already pre-selected. So that's why I haven't really been on this story, even though I am. If you've been listening or watching me for a while, you know that Iran, I believe, plays a huge role in our future. But this story, I haven't been paying attention to, or I haven't been covering. I've been paying attention to because it didn't matter until they started saying, death to the Ayatollah. That's when things changed, and that was on Friday night, Saturday. People rallying in the streets. This guy is when they were originally going for Mousavi, he's not a friend of the West, but that's what you were hearing on television. He started Iran's nuclear program. The 2 out of 3 Iranians born after 1979 now, after the revolution, they feel like their votes were stolen. And there's some good evidence now to support that. People have been saying that the voter turnout was sometimes 80 to 170 cities, exceeded 100%. Those estimates are way off. The Guardian Council say, no, it only happened in about 50 cities, which means it affects only 3 million votes. This is really not about votes. This is about freedom. Freedom is what they're looking for. The government and its paramilitary groups have handled the protests now with beatings, with shootings, with arrests. They're going door to door now. The image of a teenage girl shot and killed is becoming the symbol that is helping to chip away at not just the legitimacy of one election, but the government's entire claim of legitimacy. It has emboldened demonstrators to chant death to the Ayatollah. While some top clerics are blaming the West for these violent protests, which they say we are now creating, and they are creating anarchy, others wish President Obama would give the Iranian people more support. I am one of those people. You remember Obama's speech in Cairo last month. He said, the various rights that we possess are not just American ideas, they are human rights. And that is why we will support them everywhere. Well, I guess people think that support has to mean that it's going to be a tank or troops or dropping bombs. That's not it. Where is Obama's public support for the Iranian people who are fighting for freedom? International backing has proved to be a tipping point over and over again in the fight for freedom. It happened in Georgia, Indonesia, Nicaragua, Panama, the Philippines, South Africa, Taiwan. You remember in Poland in 1989, Ronald Reagan, he called them an evil empire. He supported the movement in Poland that eventually led to Gorbachev tearing down that wall. On the other hand, lack of support can prove to be the death knell for protesters who come to feel the cause is already lost. That's what happened at Tiananmen Square 20 years ago this month, and in Prague back in 1969. The United States of America needs to make it very clear to everybody on planet Earth that we stand for freedom, period. That means we unabashedly support those who crave it, not necessarily with troops and tanks, but we support them. So while the Iranian people take to the streets and risk their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor for a chance at freedom, it is the silence from thousands of miles away in Washington that is most telling of all.